See Senator Hillary Clinton now in San Juan, who is scheduled to speak anytime between about 5:15 and 5:30. She is coming out now, sort of thanking her supporters. Just at the tip of ready for the 6 o'clock newscast. She is going to be speaking during the 6 o'clock newscast to garner as much attention as possible, because some newscasts, certainly across this country, will carry that message live. And you can bet just at about 6:04, when everybody's tuning in, she is going to say, go to HillaryClinton.com.
They have TV sets in South Dakota and Montana, too.
That is absolutely right.
It's only 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock is my guess. Mountain time? No, they're Central time, aren't they?
Yeah,
Central,
we're going to be listening for her to be talking about Michigan here. We're going to be listening for her to talk about unity. We'll see.
And I talk about Obama.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Although she has largely pivoted away from drawing contrast with Barack Obama, only to say that she is the more electable. She believes that she's the more electable.
No, I mean more positive. I wouldn't expect anything negative. I think it'd be positive.
This week she started talking, don't forget, about how she enjoyed taking those trips to Iraq with John McCain. It's not like she's abandoned hitting Obama. We'll see if he drops one of those.
In Iraq.
And I wonder where he's been. To that, Rachel? You thought there was a dig in there, perhaps?
Let's listen into a little bit of the cheering there in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
So that she might stop somewhere.
We know what the speech would have sounded like if she was planning on stopping this week. We know what the speech would have sounded like. It would have been about John McCain. It would have been about what's wrong with the Bush administration. It would have been about how the Democratic Party stands up for working people. It would have been about the energy of the primaries. It would have been how the country is ready for change. It would not have been, I'm winning the popular vote. These are the states that I have won. We need to count every vote. I won Michigan. I won all of these other states. I am the strongest candidate. Let's keep fighting.
I don't think you would.
One of the big things that Obama needs to do is he needs to, I know this has become a cliche, he does need to unify the party. He does need to lock up the Democratic base. He does need to appeal to women. His poll numbers with women right now, with Democratic women, are bad. And he cannot start to repair that damage and to improve his standing among women while he's got Hillary Clinton still in the race, still running, still actually making a case that she's not winning because of sexism. He's not going to be able to make progress.
Organizational challenge as well, because you have to fit together these two organizations in a way that kind of maximizes the synergies, to use some buzzwords. But now there were some reports a week or so ago that preliminary lower level discussions had already begun, and they were kind of poo-pooed. But I suspect that on the kind of, consultant level, the kind of, permanent Washington level of people who all know each other and just chose different sides in this fight, you know that they're having these sorts of discussions.
Again, this is one of those things where you want those discussions to be happening in June and not in August, or not in September, honestly, when you think about it, by the time the Democratic convention is over. There does have to be an organizational merge. There does have to be not over the smoothing over of egos and ruffled feathers, but also that sort of just logistical work to get the campaign really working. And you do not want to be doing that in September when McCain's been the de facto nominee on the Republican side since February.
Yeah, and they both got tremendous organizations in states. Hers might be better in some states than his.
That's right.
And you got to marry those state organizations before you decide what states we're going to focus on. So a lot of that stuff has got to be done, and I think she recognizes that too. So, I think maybe that work will go on as she, if you will, continues on and saying, let's see what happens.
Let's also keep in mind that she doesn't have any money, at least compared to him. I mean, both of them are in somewhat better situation than John McCain is, but it's not like Senator Clinton is sitting on the kind of war chest that Senator Obama is. And so as she is spending, she is debt spending at this point.
But also keep in mind that there are Clinton supporters in places where Obama dominated in the voting. There are Obama supporters in places where Clinton did well. If these people are, in terms of the elected officials, they are anxious to get together. They are anxious to make peace with the other side in order to make peace with their constituents.
I think some of the ladies in Washington aren't anxious to make peace. The ones at that meeting yesterday.
It is very interesting, too, that perhaps as we approach these final decisions by the superdelegates in the coming days, there is a remarkable piece in Vanity Fair addressing Bill Clinton and what he's been doing and the type of people he's been associating with. Also, Bill Clinton was a subject of an interview that the Washington Post just did with Senator Clinton before she spoke before this rally, asked, in fact, whether her husband is putting her out as a VP candidate. She said she has no idea, essentially, whether he is doing that, essentially talking to people about whether Hillary Clinton should be the vice presidential nominee.
Can we straw poll right here? Who thinks that Barack Obama would ever pick Hillary Clinton as his vice president? Any of us?
I think there's a possibility if he's in real trouble when you get to late August. Yeah, I think he'd be just like JFK. I mean, if he's losing Pennsylvania by 10.